Hello and welcome to another update video about INJ. Yeah, good to see that INJ broke above this $10 mark, which was critical resistance. In the last videos, I think we talked about the potential already of this to being a triangle, and that, you know, if you were looking for long positions, invalidation point for the triangle was basically the red line. That was $6.40, so that would have basically been a bit of a stop point, and $10 would have been the breakout point. So that's sort of typically how to understand these ranges. So the count hasn't changed. It could have done a deeper wave 4, but overall we did say against the orange box support, focus can be on higher, even though highly speculative. Now it has formed 5 waves up basically. Can of course still go higher, but we did highlight $15 roughly, these previous swing highs here, as first sort of target range after the breakout. Seems like we want to get there. Okay, so this was sort of this area around the B wave high, those previous swing highs, where basically if you add the VRVP, the problem was we saw all the volume down there, so we need to shift it a little bit up. So let me zoom in 1 second. So there you go, where you see a little bit of an increase in historical volume. The problem is all the trading, historically all the volume happened down here at this base. But if we ignore that, so it just shows you there is a bit of a volume spike here in this area. So that's typically where the price should slow down. But there's literally not much historical volume above this $15 mark. So that is when the price enters basically then also, or it's very likely it's going to enter all-time high territory with a break above $27. Yeah, literally, a lot of people ask me for an update, but there isn't much more I can really tell you. I mean, all the parameters were defined. The target area was basically defined for wave 5. All we can do really now is to wait for the wave 2 pullback, and just anybody who's trading this just lets it run, right? Maybe even that locks in some profits. I can give you a few ideal targets for wave 1 based on Fibonacci extensions, but there isn't much I can do because historically the history of the chart is a little short. So I don't really have all the, you know, I would like to have a clearer start to wave 1, for example. So it's highly questionable if I give you fibs as targets basically for this lower degree wave 1, it's going to be a bit speculative. So $21.47 comes up as one of the key targets for wave 1 here. So what do we have? We've got the $15 mark, $21.47. I'm going to add that to the chart as a dotted line, but that's not a reliable target, so it might easily break or we might not even get there. It's just a bit of a level to focus. What else can we use as target? Well, we can use here the length of waves 1 through 3, and then we go to the end of the wave 4, which was the end of the triangle basically, to get an idea here of the target. And then we use typically, first of all, the 38.2 extension level. That's one key level to watch. That's at $16.49. It's basically this B wave high. And then we've got $27.50, which is the all-time high. So these are the levels I can give you as ideal targets of this 5th wave. Again, can always extend, you know, but they are sort of the next levels to watch. And obviously above the $27 mark, we are sort of in no man's land a little bit, or what shouldn't say no man's land. It's just going to be a very much extended 5th wave, which can happen. I can then give you some extension targets there. But overall, I mean, literally this can now push higher until basically, yeah, it gets exhausted. And typically what you would use is just a 50% fib level to understand when it starts to break, and that's at $10. So if it gets back below the $10 mark, which is quite logical because that's been the breakout point, so we get back below $10, then likely this rally is over and we're entering wave 2 support. So yeah, I don't see a good entry point here anymore. I mean, that would have been down here in the consolidation period. This is now gone. Yeah, again, you can always jump onto the train if you like to, if you know what you're doing. But you know, from an reward to risk point of view, this is pretty much now. There isn't the clear, you know, there is not a clear stop now. You could say, you know, where you enter with a very low risk position with high reward. Surely this can extend, but then again, you don't have the clear reward to risk parameters that you would need for a trade. So again, looking at the long-term chart, I mean, this could now be in the completion phases of a wave one, which is good to see because that means INJ has become a little bit more reliable as a long-term chart. And after the wave two pullback, if it holds that, it will become even more reliable, you know, and that's sort of how it then starts to push. So maybe for the next bull run, this could be one that performs quite well. It's just that INJ is only moving up here as a diagonal. Okay, that's the only way it can really do that. It's not an impulse, it's a diagonal, also because of this choppy structure here and the 3-wave move in the wave one. Okay, I could say, okay, wave one was here, then A, B, C as a running flat basically. No, it would be an expanded flat, but the problem with that is that the 3rd wave then is a 3-wave move. So yeah, it's a bit unclear, the micro count, okay? But if we talk about it as a diagonal, then we would also be looking for a 3-wave move in wave 5. So it seems likely we're only just now working on wave A. So what we might expect is at some point here a pullback in wave B. As soon as we see a first deeper retracement, maybe it will retest the $10 mark. That could then be a B wave with a C wave still to come. So if there is a pullback, you know, that could be the next sort of, you could say, a pullback entry trade, okay? So basically it would do an A, B, C in wave 5. So I haven't even seen any evidence that wave A is complete. So it could be that it's reaching here sort of this resistance area, gets rejected, pulls back in a B wave before it then moves in C. So yeah, that's all I can tell you really about INJ. I think the levels are clear. $10 is now support. Targets should be clear. The trend is clearly up. It has given us some information that we now have potentially 5 waves up. So in the next pullback, in the next larger pullback, we can watch for a 3-wave pullback in a wave 2. And as soon as I see that happen, I will give you support. Until that pullback shows, the trend is clearly up against the $10 level. And now it will be interesting to see if we can break above these resistances and get into a new all-time high territory. Yeah, that's my update about INJ. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.